Sometimes the most profound lessons are hiding in the simplest places. Today, we're going to dive into a children's story called The Magic Pencil, and I'll show you how this little tale is actually a perfect map of the hero's journey, that ancient storytelling framework that tells us so much about choice, power, and what it really means to grow up. So let me just start by asking you this. What if you could draw anything and it would just pop into existence? It's a wild thought, right? Well, that's exactly the power our main characters, Tofu and Tia, are about to stumble upon, and their journey is going to force them to figure out what that kind of power is really for. So our story kicks off in a place you might expect, an old antique shop. One of those spots filled with forgotten treasures and dusty memories. It's right here that Tofu and Tia find something that looks pretty ordinary, but is about to turn their world completely upside down. And this is it. This is the moment it all begins. It's not some grand prophecy or a mysterious letter. Nope, it's just a simple, innocent request. Tofu sees a beautiful pencil, and he wants it. That small desire, well, that's the spark that's about to light the fuse on this whole adventure. Now, in storytelling terms, this is what we call the call to adventure. See, Tofu's world is totally normal, and then bam, this gorgeous pencil shows up and disrupts everything. He has no idea yet, but just by asking for that pencil, he's saying yes to a journey that's going to test him in ways he can't even imagine. Okay, so Tofu gets the pencil, but this isn't just any old antique. He's about to find out that this beautiful object holds an absolutely incredible secret. And it doesn't reveal itself with a flash of light or a big explosion, but with a simple, quiet scribble on a piece of paper. And what I love here is how he discovers the magic. He doesn't just, trip and fall into it. He's actually methodical about it, almost like a little scientist. First, he notices something weird. His leaf drawing disappears. So he comes up with a theory and decides to test it by drawing an apple. And when a real apple appears in front of him, well, he's got his proof. And there it is, that incredible moment of truth. You can just feel the shock, the disbelief, the absolute wonder. The impossible has literally just happened, and he's holding the magic right there in his hand. The secret's out, and from this point on, nothing is ever going to be the same. This moment of realization, this is our hero crossing the threshold. By accepting that the pencil is magical, he's basically stepped out of the ordinary world and into a new one. A world with a brand new, fantastic rule. Whatever you draw becomes real. The adventure is officially on. So the magic is real. But, having all the power in the world is one thing. Figuring out what to do with it, that's the real test. And this is where the story hits us with its central conflict. A huge test of character for our hero. And this just lays it out so perfectly. We see the two paths forward. Tofu's first impulse is so relatable, right? He wants a cake. It's simple. It's for him. But Tia, she immediately sees a bigger picture. She suggests using this incredible power not for themselves, but to help other people. It's that classic struggle, self-interest versus doing good for others. And right here, Tia steps right into the role of the mentor. Every hero needs a guide, right? Someone to offer wisdom, to be their moral compass. Tia isn't just a friend tagging along. She is the one who's going to guide Tofu through the tricky ethics of having this amazing power. And this is where the story kind of turns the spotlight on us. Seriously, if that were you holding that pencil, what's the very first thing you would create? Would it be a treat for yourself, like Tofu's cake, or would it be a gift for someone else, like Tia suggested? It's really the core question of the whole story. So, Tofu listens to his mentor, Tia, and he chooses the path of generosity. And this next part of their journey, it really isn't about the magic of the pencil anymore. It's about the magic of giving and seeing the incredible impact their art has on the people around them. And just look at the impact of their very first act. They don't just draw a generic dress. They fulfill a deep personal wish. For this person, it's not just clothes, it's something they have always wanted, and now it's real. And then they go from fulfilling a want to meeting a fundamental need. With this one drawing, they provide food and happiness for an entire family. The pencil's power is now creating real, tangible joy in their community. Okay, this right here is the absolute turning point. Tofu's big emotional breakthrough. He realizes that the joy he feels from seeing other people smile is way, way bigger than the quick pleasure he'd get from a cake. The real reward isn't something he can create for himself. It's the connection he feels with others. And here comes the mentor, Tia, putting the central lesson of the entire story into words. She confirms what he's feeling, she calls it true happiness, and she validates the choice he made. He passed the test, not just by helping, but by understanding why it feels so good to help. But hold on, the journey isn't quite over yet. The final test for any hero is what they do after they've learned the big lesson. Do they cling to the source of their power, or do they understand that its job in their life is done? I mean, this comparison says it all, doesn't it? At the start of his journey, Tofu was all about getting the pencil for himself. By the end, after learning the true value of generosity, his first thought is to pass that opportunity on to someone else. He's made the full switch from a getting mindset to a giving one. Tia's reaction here is just the perfect seal of approval. She sees his wisdom, his growth, and her question isn't just a compliment. It's her acknowledging that Tofu has truly completed his journey. He's not the same kid who first asked for that pencil. This final act is what the hero's journey calls returning with the elixir. But notice the brilliant twist here. The elixir, the real treasure, isn't the magic pencil. He gives that back. The real elixir is the wisdom he gained, that deep understanding that true happiness comes from helping others. That's the treasure he gets to keep forever. And that really just leaves us with this final thought to chew on. The story presents us with two treasures, a temporary magical object and a permanent internal lesson. By letting go of the first one, our hero is able to gain the second. It really makes you wonder, in our own lives, what are the magic pencils we're holding on to, and what is the real wisdom we're meant to find?